Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another mainstream take about gacha games. Because I'm personally of the opinion that the mainstream take of gacha games is really important. Especially in the modern era. Because we've seen how kind of like nerdy activities, nerdy franchises of the past, right? Due to their exposure to the mainstream, their popularization in the mainstream, well, they become a lot more socially acceptable to kind of like talk about, engage with, so on and so forth. And the biggest example I'm talking about over here is anime. Y'all remember Naruto? Y'all remember Bleach? You were a freak back in the day if you talked about that at school. Now, you're the nerd if you don't talk about anime. Now you're the loser if you don't talk about that. And that's why mainstream exposure is important. And so we've got more mainstream exposure for gacha games today because we're going to be reacting to a take by Asmongold that he decided to just make and put out there while he was like reacting to another video. I think just about like gaming as a whole. Let me see what the title of this one actually is. Guys, I think it's final. I don't even think this is about gacha games, but Asmon just decided to go on an entire tangent about gachas. And well, when you hear what he has to share, you can't help but feel, man, he really is speaking for the average gamer. Because I think that what he's saying, when you take tribalism out of it, when you take, right, he's talking about no physical copies. Oh, okay, the original video Asmon is reacting to is about how games don't do physical discs anymore. And this motherfucker's bringing up live service gacha games. So it is tangentially related, but you can kind of see it's like a little bit out there. That's going to be the setting of this one. And like I said before, if you listen to what he says and you take the tribalism, all of that stuff out of it, you'll realize that this is the take that I'm pretty confident 95% plus of the average people will have. And if people get interested in this gacha space as a mainstream sort of like person, a normie, then this is likely what they're going to do. So let's listen to this.
I think the same thing has happened. Like a really good microcosm of this is anime style character selector gacha games with different characters that do different types of attacks like fire, ice, elemental attacks.
Basically, he's talking about Genshin Impact. Tangentially, Honkai Star Rail, because it has the same systems, maybe turn-based isn't what he's talking about. Then you got Zenless Zone Zero. Then you got Arknight's Enfield. Then you got NTE. Then you got Wuthering Waves. Right? That is essentially the sort of like main audience or the main genre that's being described over here. And it effectively forms its own genre of games at this point.
There are right now too many games on the market for that audience.
Essentially, too many games. Most people only have time for one, maybe two. And that is truly, I believe, the reality. If you are an individual and you are playing more than two of like the games that we just mentioned, that is probably not healthy. And you probably don't have a good relationship with gacha at that point. You should only be playing two max. And if you play any more than that, I am truly wondering how much you actually like all of the games that you're playing. Because I think that there's no way you're actually engaging with them on a level that is like both satisfactory and like fulfilling. And you're kind of just like there just to pull at that point. Probably not very healthy, is it?
And there's even more of these games coming out.
And that's the issue. There's a lot right now. And one of the most expensive things you can pay with, guys, that a lot of people don't realize is your time. And if you're at the point where you're hanging on to these games just because of your past investments, just because of like your pulls, just because you feel like you're going to lose something if you stop, if that's the only reason why you're playing something is because you're afraid of losing something if you stop, you need to quit. Because if that's the main driving force, you're not having fun with the game anymore. You're just playing this shit because you're scared of losing something.
Still have silver palace.
And that's not healthy. And with even more games coming out, like how Asmon is saying right now, dude, you're going to have even less time and you're going to be even more stressed trying to keep up.
You still have Silver Palace releasing.
Rewinding Cadence too.
And you also, you have Azure Premilia releasing as well.
Bro, are you gonna be somebody that plays Genshin, HSR, ZZZ, Wuwa, NTE, AKE, Silver Palace, Rewinding Cadence, and Azure Premilia? Well, they're all good games. They're all high-budget 3D games. I gotta play all of them because they all look good. There's no fucking way. Just choose like 2 of them max. Like, you physically can't. You won't be able to enjoy them.
Both of these games, I think people like...
And this is also my take. If you're going with the mindset of, oh, I'll just play the games for 2 weeks, then quit, then move on to the next one, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that to me is, I think, the worst type of gacha engagement. Where your take is that you're gonna play everything and then just play one thing for 2 weeks, then move on to the next one, play it for 2 weeks, and move... What are you even doing at this point? Like, are you going to play any game for longer than a weekend? There's not... At that point, bro, you're like doing the equivalent of like modern day like job hopping. And guess what? Job hopping don't work no more because there's no more jobs. And you're gonna run out of games if you're playing for fucking 2 weeks at a time. Yeah, we see how with your gacha hopping did. Yeah, you should look how job hopping worked out, brother.
Like, NTE is a good game, but there are so many people that are already invested into Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves that it's hard for any of these new games to catch on.
I think that's fair. You could also say NTE just isn't good enough to drag people's attention away from games like Genshin or Wuwa, which is more so the reality. Asmon's actually being so nice to the game, it's unreal. I think the factual statement is NTE just isn't good enough as a game to get players from Wuwa or to get players from Genshin. Because if it was good enough as a game, it would do that, but it can't, so it's just not good enough. I don't think it's necessarily, oh, there's too many players already for these other games. I just don't think NTE is good enough.
Any of these new games to catch on because there's already so much attention for the existing ones.
Nah. I don't buy this one. I don't think it's the attention for the existing ones. It's just a game needs to be, or I guess that's fair. A game needs to be good enough to get the attention from other bigger titles. And if you're going to be releasing a game and it's not big enough, some could ask why you're even bother releasing it in the first place, especially when it could just turn out like this. There has to be people at Hypergriff that regret releasing this game like this. There has to be. They expected this game to be the next Genshin, or really, at least, right, the next Wuwa. They're not even the next ZZZ. They're literally not even the next ZZZ. Imagine you make a game that isn't even as good as ZZZ. Why'd you even release the fucking game in the first place then? I think that's a fair take.
And I think that fundamentally, they reached market saturation and people have already made a literal investment, right? They spent $1,000 on their favorite waifu.
True. You gotta work past sunk cost fallacy and years of your time, which I said before is one of your most valuable resources. That's why some people find it so hard to let go. Remember how I said time is valuable? You really remember when your time feels wasted, or when your time feels like it wasn't well spent. You really feel it the most when you spent a lot of time on something and then it turns into nothing. For example, I don't know, you like Brick and Echo, right? That you've been farming for a long time. Or you pull on the wrong banner, right? And you reset your pity on a character you didn't actually want, right? That's like the worst shit ever when it feels like your time, resources, blah, blah, blah are wasted. And that's what it feels like for almost every person that played AKE, every person that played NTE. Bro, a lot of people feel like our time was really fucking wasted. And the level of hesitation that people have to trying another gacha in 2026 is awful. Because there's been so many failures as of late. And so, every failure that arrives in the space, every game that doesn't live up, right, to the expectations, every game that just releases and it's just worse, right, than what came before it, that just gives less and less confidence, less and less exposure, and it's just going to result in people being more and more isolated and even more and more invested in just their own titles. And that also means, guys, the companies that have the most mindshare, the games with the most mindshare, which are now Genshin and Wuwa, they're free to be as predatory as they want. And it sucks. Literally, Enfield and NTE being dog shit games is actively making the top gachas worse. Because your competition's not there anymore. Bro, why do you care? Like, bro, there can be nothing holding. You cannot be stopped, bro, at this point. You're fucking Genji with a fucking nano boost, bro. You can't be stopped because who's going to fucking stop you? AKE? NTE? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna fucking do? They're dead. ZZZ? Bro, did you see how 3.0 went? What is ZZZ gonna do? You think ZZZ is gonna be able to steal players from Wuwa? You think NTE is gonna be able to steal players from Wuwa? You think AK is going to be able to do that? After everything that they've done and their track record in the space? Fuck no. Fuck no, it's not happening. You think Genshin's going to steal players from Wuwa? You think Kuro's going to be able to... What would Kuro need to do for you to leave Wuwa and go to Genshin? Probably nothing. You'd end up just quitting Gacha. You'd probably just end up quitting Gacha as a whole first. And that's where this space is at right now, bro. Asmon is entirely right. People just want to invest more and more and more into what they have right now, and they just want to do that more when everything else is shit. And the more you invest, the harder it is to let go. That's why people are in 50-year loveless marriages.
These games, and now they're not willing to give that up. I think that's what's happened.
It's kind of just a one-to-one. And that's the damage of bad games in the gacha space. And that's the damage that grifters in the gacha space do. Because, as we're all aware, right, there be a lot of CCs out there that really do love this whole game-swapping meta, right? They love this whole game-swapping meta. And, like, the idea, right, is that, like, oh, we just gonna be... Oh, it looks like he got the ad. Looks like he got the sponsored boost, too. 75k views, 700... Hey, that's what I'm talking about, motherfucker. Hey, good shit. Anyways, these guys will just be out here actively destroying the space. Pushing, uplifting games that are designed just to waste people's time. Because we're advertising AKE, we're advertising ZZZ, we're advertising NTE, trying to get people to play it. Confidence goes down in the space as they play these games that are fucking trash, garbage, awful, shit. And so people just get more disillusioned with gacha. They get more caught up in their tribalistic holes. They only want to stay in their nice, safe box because outside, it's hell. And CCs like this that just keep promoting garbage down your fucking throat because they're getting a paycheck from the company to promote that garbage. Fuck. Jesus. The space is now truly so fucked compared to a year ago. Imagine Gacha now compared to Gacha then. Bro, it's truly worse. It is truly so much worse, it is unbelievable. And the shilling is the biggest reason why. And I gotta say this, I think these two, Gacha Smack and Mr. Pokey, they have truly done the most damage in the space. I have actually never seen two individuals do so much fucking damage to the space. And it's awful, especially when you know where their origins are from.
Summoners Wars is the original gacha? I don't give a fuck about that piece of shit.
That's me and FGO. That's me and FGO. Dude. Like, dude, I will open, bro, I will talk shit about Fate Grand Order for 5 hours. Like, bro, I would do like a FGO shit talk subathon. Where like all I do is just talk shit about the game for the an entire stream. Bro, that game is so shit. Like, dude, I have never seen a game that literally just looks like a money laundering scheme. That is what FGO is to me. Bro, I'm pretty sure like it's funded by the Yakuza. I'm like 99% sure FGO is just a Yakuza fucking money laundering scheme. No. A million percent. A million fucking percent.
Fuck that game. The game sucks. You play Wuthering Waves. That's the only good one.
And that's the average person take. Because if you tried AKE, you tried NTE, you tried ZZZ, you tried HSR, you tried Genshin non-sarcastically, you do have to say, unless you're biased as fuck or tribalistic, that Wuthering Waves is the best. It truly is. From pretty much every single angle possible. And yes, there are a couple of things maybe now that you can really focus on, right? Like the mass amount of HP inflation. Bro, I blame the HP inflation on NTE, AKE, and ZZZ being dog shit games. Bro, if those games were better, Wuwa would have less HP inflation. But when your competitors literally GPQ themselves in the head by making their games awful, and the competition literally exterminates itself, well, what are you gonna do when you have effectively self-monopolized? Wuthering Waves has now turned into a fucking monopoly because the other competitors in the space are retarded idiots. And that's just fucking embarrassing, isn't it? To win in that way? To win off of that. Your ops are just idiots. Oh, wait, I know exactly what that feels like. So, that's the takeover here. Let's finish it up.
And it's their fault.
Shut the fuck up.
They're the ones that did this. We don't
Okay, all right.
have anything to do with it
Shut up,
outside of
idiot.
just not playing those games in this
don't know
case. But
anything.
these guys had a good thing, but they just
Why is he
couldn't.
just talking over this? We've seen it over and over again. so many individuals that are deciding to quit other games. They're deciding to just basically tone back on the amount of time that they're spending on others, and they're just playing Wuwa, and they're just playing gachas for like 20 minutes a day. And there are so many people doing that, where they've dropped every fucking thing else, and all they have is this, and they're happy. Because guys, if you're one of those people out there that's playing 7, 8 gachas, you're playing that many. And yo, appreciate the subs, Quentin, I appreciate it, man. If you're at the point where you're playing like 6, 7, 8, 9 gachas a day, I'm telling you this, once you get down to 2, maybe 3 max, you will be so much happier, it's unreal. Less baggage, less thought about which dailies you have to do. And you want to know what the best thing is? Guys, when you're only doing 1 daily a day, or even 2, missing one is not that big of a deal. Think about the mental multiplier damage that you take if you're like sick or something and you miss 7 dailies across all your games. It's a lot better to just feel like you only missed like 1, right? Oh no, I missed a Wuwa daily. Oh gosh, oh, the world's not ending. Or the world's gonna end now, right? It's fine to miss like a daily. It has no mental impact on you when you're only playing 1 game. Because that's just like, oh, I'll just, whatever. Like, you miss dailies when you're playing 7, you miss 7 dailies in 1 day. Just think about that for a second, and just think about, like, the mental baggage you're placing on yourself as a gacha game player. I shouldn't even need to explain more. Just think about it. The space is undergoing a transformation. And it almost reminds me of the way that Gen Z people are reported to work in the office space, where they're, like, very direct with, like, feedback. They just want to, like, know what they need to know and just, like, move on and do the work, right? This to me feels like the modern day gacha player, where they're just like, okay, if your game has like a bunch of this gay shit in it, I'm just not even fucking playing it, bro. I'm not even gonna bother with this fucking shit. Like, if your game actually just feels like unfun, I'm just gonna drop it. And I'm gonna be honest, bro, that's what it seems like is happening in the modern day, because these games are not fun. These games both feel like jobs. This game is like the definition of a job, and this game's main gameplay is job. Bro, you're a delivery driver and a fisherman. And when your games are not fun, these guys, the modern gacha game player just doesn't play them. And I don't think these companies are used to that. I think these companies are used to putting out cash grabs where they just like automatically make money or some shit. No, if your game's not fun, people are gonna quit it. And that appears to be what's actually happening nowadays. Maybe these guys looked at Gacha and they were like, dude, this game is boring as shit. How the fuck does it happen? We'll just make it an equally boring game. Unfortunately, that doesn't work in 2026. Hopefully, this mainstream take for a mainstream CC regarding a soon-to-be, hopefully, mainstream sort of like industry. Because this is what I hope for the future. I had thought Wuthering Waves was going to set a new standard for quality, gameplay, effort in the gacha space. And it sort of did. Genshin is better before than it's ever been before when it comes to animations and stuff. It did set a new standard, absolutely. I thought the other games were going to meet it. The games that came out 1 to 2 years after Wuwa. Wuwa came out in May 2024. AKE came out in January 2026. And it is a quarter of the game Wuwa is. You thought, or I thought, that the space was going to level up. For example, right? After they released like the iPhone, right? This was like BlackBerry releasing another fucking physical keyboard phone. That shit got fucked in the ass, right? Bro, you just had like a touchscreen phone. What you do is still doing the physical keyboard shit. That's like AKE coming in and having no pity carry forward, right? And no 50-50 guarantee in their gacha system. Outdated garbage. And the thing is it's just, that's not how the game goes mainstream. That's not how the industry goes mainstream. That's not how it like grows, and that's not how gacha becomes like a like better place. It becomes better when the games become better. And these companies are producing shit games, and these shit CCs are promoting these shit games and making the space worse. That's why it's great to have people like Asmon who will just stand on business, say this shit straight, and then we get to just call out the biggest fucking grifters in the space. Because these are the people that are supposed to be having these takes, right? These are the guys that were supposed to be on the sides of the players. Well, why are the players all saying the opposite things, right? Why are the players all shitting on these games? Maybe it's because we're just lying for the bag. Who knows? Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.